Hello, friend. This is Bob. The Intel stock dropped about 6% on last Wednesday after the company gave the investment an update on the company's turnaround plan to become a chip manufacturing company, basically competing with the TSMC. Intel is well-known the technology giant, so it tried to plan to transfer its internal foundry and manufacturing operation into a separate business model. So in a recent investor call, Intel's executive vice president and the CFO called David Zinsner, and also the corporate vice president and general manager of corporate planning called Jason Grab. They outlined the plan to create a separate profit and loss P&L statement for the company manufacturing group, that including the foundry services. So that plan, known as the IDM 2.0, is the purpose is to establish internal foundry services as the reportable unit that can serve the both external fabless customer and internal business unit. This means that Intel will offer the foundry services to the outside competitors while also allowing the internal unit to choose between the Intel foundry and outside the choice alternative like TSMC, and which the TSMC basically already manufactured some of the Intel chips. So now basically later on they will allow the Intel design team to choose between Intel's foundry and outside competitors. So that can boost the Intel design department the choice, the option, and also give the pressure and give the freedom for the Intel the foundry and manufacturing the department. Basically, let them have a give a choice. They can arrange, the serving the inside and outside customers. They can have a better use of the production capability. So I think that will be the win-win situation for the both the design department and the inside manufacturing manufacturing the unit. Also, it's good for outside the customers. So that would be a great plan. So the company in the hope and plan for its internal foundry model to become the second largest the foundry in the industry. Intel believes that establishing a separate profit and loss statement for that division will unlock cost reduction opportunity. And just by the separate the profit and loss, the report that can save the cost by $80 billion to $10 billion. That's a lot, huge saving. This opportunity and including improved the basically called ramp the rate and improve the test and sorting the time, also the market-based pricing. However, it's important to know that this transition may initially and cause some negative operating margin, basically need some cost to finish that work. Besides that, Intel asserts that maintaining the foundry as an integral part of the operation will benefit external customers. So basically, by developing multiple products on a node internally before release that to the outside customer, Intel basically the purpose to have a risk-free or have a lower risk the process for outside customer. They can ensure the smoother production with fewer issues. And there's a general manager Grab basically emphasized the importance of customer data and IP intellectual property segregation, and also providing the world-class the service support and the supply availability to compete effectively with rivals like TSMC. When he was questioned about the possibility of splitting the business into the separate unit, separate business. One is the fabless design, and the other is the foundry, the entity foundry company. So Zensner highlighted, the CFO highlighted the advantage of putting the product and manufacturing capability together. So basically mean that at this time, they have no plan to separate into the separate company, separate entity. But that's when according to him, the collaboration between the internal teams enables better process technology and product advancement. And Zesner sees no immediate need for split, but it remains it can be a potential option in the long term. So in the future, Intel may still have option and can potentially spin off the foundry operation. In the recent weeks, Intel has made the substantial investment announcement that including the establishment of an assembly plant in Poland and a 25 billion plant in Israel. This investment added to the billions of dollars allocated for the new fab in Oregon and Arizona, as well as a site in Germany. That showed the Intel's commitment to expanding its manufacturing capability globally. However, this recent announcement regarding the transformation of Intel's foundry and manufacturing operation had a negative impact on the company's stock. As I said in the beginning, that it declined and by around 6%. So even with this, Intel remained focused on its strategic vision and want to enhance its competitive position and reinforce its leadership in the technology industry. In the conclusion, Intel's decision to operate the foundry and manufacturing business as a separate entity represents a significant shift in its approach. By adopting the new business model, Intel want to enhance the market competitiveness, achieving the cost reduction and strengthen its technological leadership. The future will reveal how these changes shape the Intel's position in the evolving in the landscape of semiconductor industry. And thank you for the listening. This is Bob.